Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In this video I'd like to look at a great high volume VSA trade we had this morning on the DAX off the high of the day here. So if I go back to before this high unfolded, I just want to see or show you how we set this up. First of all, we had a pretty major high on the DAX from yesterday here. So if we go to Advanced Chart Analysis, go to our Decision Point tool, then click Choose Swing High or Low, click on this pivot, we have a fairly major resistance zone shown here in advance. Again, the important thing is these are on the chart in advance. We also have another pivot high here, so let's put the decision point on from here as well. And here we have two decision points lining up together. So if we go forward, we can see that the DAX this morning rallied up into these highs here. If I look at the volume, you can see that it had our red high volume VSA spike colouring here, which means it was a bar to look at. Now with high volume VSA spikes, you have to look at the bar after the high volume bar. So if we go one bar ahead, you can see that this again made us a red sell bar, and in fact this was at decision point resistance, and as you can see the market was failing to move ahead. In other words, this bar was giving us a potential sell signal. So what we can do now is we can use the bar after the high volume VSA spike, which is this last bar on the chart here. We can use this for a trade entry. Our initial target would be the DP of the opposing swing low, which would be here. Oops, so I need to go back a bar there, sorry. If I go back and we do our risk reward off this bar, so we'll be shorting one tick below the bar. Our stop would be, our initial stop would be one tick above the high. Our initial target will be down here. And as you can see, our risk reward tool would give us our position sizing, in this case keeping us below a 2% initial risk on a €20,000 sample account. So this would mean we could only short one contract, but at the target the profit would have been approximately 3.5R, so it's a good trade to take. So let's move forward and see how this unfolded. Well, as you can see, we got taken into a short trade, and in fact the market went down and reached our first target very nicely indeed. This is where we go to our STF, which is our strong trend filter, and this should give us an indication of how we manage the trade. Here you can see that the STF had gone through what we call our strength band. This is our grey line. So rather than take profit at just this 3.5R, we use our ATR stop to then manage the trade. And if I move forward, you can see our ATR stop kept us in this trade, kept us in, until stopping us out down here. So rather than coming out right at this initial target here, if I put the risk reward on, remember we're using these red dots to manage the trade. So right the way down to this level here, and actually, whoops, sorry, I missed that. It's in around that bar to that level. It came out for a lovely 8.7R euro or risk reward profit. So in other words, our $250 initial risk was turned into just over €2,000 just by holding it all the way down as this trade unfolded. The only slight decision we had to make was this TS4 buy setup here that came in as we were short. Well, if we go back and have a look at the larger degree picture, you can see that we were actually shorting here off a major high which had two decision point targets coming in at us. Once the market went past our initial target, which is this one, which is the DP of the last swing into the high here, we then assume that the whole entire prior correction, which is this whole swing down here, so from here right back to here, is going to get corrected. So if we now put the decision point off this low here, we would anticipate that once this low, if I zoom in a bit, once this low is taken out, which it was with this TS4 buy, the market would not put a bottom in here, it would actually come down into at least this target. So this is why we wouldn't want to swap from an otherwise good short trade into a slightly weaker long trade just because we had an automatic setup. Again, this is why in MTPredictor we don't take all the automatic trade setups, we filter them with a larger degree trend, and in this circumstance, because we were using the correction of the entire prior swing down into this initial target, we then would avoid this TS4 sell, which means holding this short trade from what is at the moment the high of the day so far, using the ATR stop. Again, because the STF was strong, we used the ATR stop coming down here to then take us out at this level here for a very, very nice 8.7R profit. So great example of our high volume VSA spike, which is our indicator we have in our volume here, getting us into a trade with our coloured reversal MTPredictor or MTPredictor colour reversal bars, in this case at double DP resistance, which as you can see has nailed the high absolutely perfectly. So great indication of some of the more advanced tools we have in the MTPredictor software. And as you can see, the result plus 8.7R trade, a very, very nice result indeed.